Previously, in Breaking Point.
Aiden, please tell us, how does it feel to be on the verge of getting behind the wheel for your very first race?
I feel like a little kid. I look around and I'm surrounded by my heroes.
And tell me about Casper Ackerman. How is that relationship coming along?
It wasn't my fault.
Well, whose fault was it then?
He tried to stop them from signing you. Didn't want to play babysitter. We all feel sorry for you, mate. You never stood a chance with him.
I had a call this morning from Christian Horner. You're being watched.
You know what his problem is, don't you? Thinks you're getting too old.
You want respect, you give respect. That's how it works.
How about you give me a little respect?
How about you earn it first? I'm done.
You what?
I'm retiring.
Why didn't it work out between you two?
He's on more money than me,
What? He didn't want me on the team.
didn't I? And you thought I was past my best.
So none of this is true.
There's always gossip in the paddock. And ever since he's arrived, there's been one man at the center of it all. I want us to push for fourth. I want us to beat Butler. And I want that seat to go to you.
So Alfa Romeo potentially on track to really upset AlphaTauri here. Butler's closing in on Ackerman. Down the inside he goes, and they've hit each other. Butler into the barrier, and that looks to be the end of the race for him. The Dutchman looks to be continuing and...
It's great to see him still in this fight, Crofty.
Good return, Aiden. What about Casper?
We let Aiden pass.
Let Aiden pass.
We did it.
We did it. Have you seen the crash yet?
Butler's okay?
Bruised ego, perhaps.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Breakpoint 2 here on F123, a direct sequel to the Breakpoint game that was in, I believe, F1 2021 was the last time we saw it. So there you have it. It was a little recap, a beautiful little recap, and we are diving into Chapter 1 of the brand new story, Miami Grand Prix, several races into the 2022 season. So remember, this is taking place so far, at least the early going of this Breakpoint gameplay will be taking place with the 2022 cars. So you'll see the lineup for last year, you'll see the cars from last year. Chapter 1, 2022, a new era for Formula One. An overhaul of the technical regulations marks the first major update to the sport for several years. But it's not only the new cars that are turning heads down in the paddock. So the only thing I know about this is there's a brand new team called Konnorsport. Butler is one of the sponsorships, so I can only imagine that Aiden Jackson and Devin Butler have both teamed up. And if I know anything about the previous Breakpoint story, should prove to be a very entertaining and very interesting series. So without further ado, let's dive into the brand new story of Breakpoint 2.
What was it like bringing a brand new team to the F1 grid?
You know, the first time you see a car, your car, with your branding, your name on it, in an official race, alongside Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, that's what it's all about.
You make it sound like a dream come true.
If only.
When did you first get a sense of what was in store for Konnorsport?
2022 season, straight out of the box. The drivers were always going to clash. That was a calculated risk. But the car had problems.
We're midway through the Miami Grand Prix. It's been a cracking race so far, and it's all up for grabs.
Absolutely, Crofty. Some fantastic driving here today, especially, I have to say, from Aiden Jackson. I don't think I've ever seen the Konnorsport car being put through its paces quite like this.
This is a team, Konnorsport, that have got a lot to prove this season, but Jackson might just be the man to do it.
All right, well, there you have it. A beautiful introduction. The game looks absolutely incredible, and we have a primary objective to finish the race.
Okay,
So,
nice job so far. Let's try and bring that gap down to the car ahead if you can. Copy that.
all right, so with the new drive model, we're going to have to get used. Apparently, this car is very, very quick. You heard him say it that, while there's a lot to prove, it does play very, very quick. So I'm excited to see what we can pull up as we're approaching Sonoda here. We're going to make a move on him on the inside. Great defense again from the AI in this iteration of the game, but no sign of Devin Butler anywhere. It sounds like there's some issues in their first maiden season. So you saw the head of Konnorsport talking about how this season was full of issues with the car, and even more entertaining, full of issues between the drivers. So a little bit of the nick of the wall there. We get into a purple sector 2 as we approach Schumacher. Remember, this is 2022, so he's driving for Khaos ahead of Alonso, who is in the Alpine car. There is some pace in this car. Holy jumpins. We're going to look to make a move here on Schumacher. We'll go to the inside, kind of squeeze him out. And a beautiful overtake for 12th position as we got our eyes set on one Mr. Fernando Alonso of Team Alpine. And one thing I'm not used to is just the amount of how fast, jump-ins, how fast this car gets to top speed. So almost blew it there as we get safely back onto the track. But you can see the rever, like the engine rev just go up so much faster than my team car. That it feels like an absolute boat compared to this. And I mean, we probably don't even need to gear shift down in these corners. That's just how good this car drives now. Gonna take me a couple laps here to get used to the feel of this car, especially it has some pace, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, this is quick, it's snappy, but the driver model that they put into the new F123 game is an absolute blast. If you guys haven't had a chance to play it, trust me when I say it is leagues better than F122. And it's real, you can feel the difference. It's not just them saying, you know, like we've implemented a new drive into the game. You know, you can actually feel as we approach the McLaren of Lando Norris, and ahead of him is Bottas. Another purple sector 2. We will easily zip past, oh my word, without DRS, we are flying by cars. Go snap back to the inside here, and we will also make an overtake there on Bottas, and we will get into 9th position. So we have gained quite a few here. I feel like this is going to be another very fast sector. Yeah, another purple sector in the fastest lap. What a beautiful drive we've got going on so far. We'll take this corner nice and slow compared to last time. I believe that was Esteban Ocon who just came flying out of the pits there. Ahead of, it was Hamilton ahead of Gasly. Apologies. Ocon's behind us. Yeah, don't even need to shift down on the gear. That is incredible. I'm not overly familiar with Miami. It's only been in the game for a couple iterations of the Formula 1 games, but that stretch right there, the chicane just feels so much faster. Now we're looking for the Mercedes of Hamilton in our sights. Use a bit of battery, see if we can't make a lunge on him here going into this turn. And we will do that as he tries squeezing us off to the curb. But we will hold our composure there, get a purple sector 1. Still no signs of Devin Butler, so I believe they just said he was behind us by, I think he said 5 or 6 seconds. A really good race going for us here. Beautiful, beautiful video game this one is. It feels really, really solid. A lot to like from it. And it's cool to see how a car that has had some development, even though this is Konnorsport's first year, it is a true Formula 1 car, unlike the My Team career boat that we seemingly drive. That engine rev just gets me every time. And now we're right up on the Red Bull of Perez. So this car, man, is very interesting to come into this and feel the absolute power that Konnorsport has. But it sounds like there's been some reliability issues for them. Gonna make it. Oh, Perez just squeezes us off, but we managed to just maintain it, and we get him on the inside there. Okay, another phenomenal overtake. And we are up to 5th position, ladies and gentlemen. So not only are we looking to finish the race, but we are trying to get Konnorsport a buttload of points here in our first race of this new story. Now George Russell, Georgie boy is in our sights. See if we can't have a go at him. Keep taking that corner wide. Again, I'm not very familiar with this circuit. It's also a pretty rough race, but we'll see if we can throw on some battery here. Should be able to catch him down the straight a little bit anyway. Oh, that throttle is, or that gear shifter probably hates me right now. We were looking to make a lunge on him as we just bump his tires a little bit. I gotta think for the story mode, they probably turned off simulation damage, which I don't hate, you know, for me. You know, you want to experience the story without, you know, having too many issues to worry about. It's all about the you know, we'll save that for my team career where we have simulation damage and all sorts of faults and things like that. Oh, we are just so quick. We'll try and squeeze George off here. Beautiful overtake there into fourth place. So now we have Carlos Sainz, but he is 7 seconds up the road. So with 5 laps, including this remaining, it is going to be very, very hard to catch that Ferrari. But to jump up into fourth from what were we, 13th position, I'll take that every day. We got a couple more laps to go. Oh, I took that one really wide. We have to go over the sausage curb. That's going to allow George to catch back up to us. Very, very bad mistake there.
And that's just 5 laps of fuel remaining.
All right, here we go. Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to catch the leaders here. A podium seems... Oh.
I'm losing power.
Oh, of course.
Copy that. We see it. We're looking into it. Okay, I'm afraid you're going to have to retire the car, please, Aiden. Retire the car. You're joking! I'm sorry, Aiden. Pull over now, please. Pull over now. This is getting ridiculous.
And that's agonising for Jackson. Just a few laps left to go, and he's out of the Miami Grand Prix.
Oh, with every race, the car looks like a constant problem for Konnorsport. It must be devastating for the drivers.
Confirmation as the car comes to a halt, the Konnorsport's Aiden Jackson won't be seeing the checkered flag today, but it looks like his teammate will. Jackson's DNF puts Devon Butler in a position where he might just be able to secure some points for Konnorsport.
Aiden's out. Yep, engine problem, I'm afraid. Good job you got me. All right, Devon, don't push it too hard.
Oh, I hate him.
We cannot risk losing both cars here. It's in the bag, mate.
Oh, what a cheeky bastard.
Yeah, how's Devon doing? Yeah, he's doing all right, mate. He looks like he's going to bring home some points for the team. Good for him.
Oh, man. Well, heartbreak here for Aiden Jackson as he loses power, and it seems like it's a continuous thing for the poor guy. And as you heard, oh my gosh, the guy who plays Devon Butler, give him credit. You love to hate that character. He plays him so well. He's so smug and arrogant. I love it, but I also want to punch him in the face. But yeah, disappointment there. Chapter 1 ends with frustration. An engine issue forces Konnorsport's Aiden Jackson to retire from the Miami Grand Prix only a few laps from the end of the race. So, you hate to see it. We were doing so well, too. We were in 4th position. We were starting to find the groove with the car.
If it's not one thing, then it's another. Did you not see what happened out there today?
Aiden, I agree with you 100%. We are doing everything we can. I know the car is not perfect, but...
Andreo, it's every race. Do you know how I look losing easy points like this?
Knock, knock. Sounds like there's a right show going on in here. What am I missing?
Not now, Devon.
Aiden and I were just discussing issues with the car.
Again? I thought that was all in hand. I had no problems today. Smooth. You know what they say? A shoddy workman always blames his tools. mate. You can look at my setup data anytime you want. I've told you that. It might help.
And I've told you before. It's not a setup issue. The problem is...
Jackson. That was the problem with the 2022.
Oh, God.
Ask anyone. I mean, at the end of 21, everyone thought Aiden was going to be signed by one of the big 3. But, guess they couldn't reach an agreement, so We both signed for Konnorsport.
And do you think that affected Aiden?
That's no secret. Now, for that 22 season, Jackson was a nightmare.
Huh, interesting. It almost feels like all these, when it keeps jumping, it seems like they're talking about the past. So it's definitely about the, the past 2022 season is what they keep mentioning. But what's interesting is you haven't actually seen Aiden Jackson in these videos. You've seen, you've seen the team principal and you've seen Butler now, all speaking about the past. So it'll be interesting to see if Aiden gets the can or what. But kind of presented here with a nice little HQ, some news articles here, uphill struggles at Konnorsport. Oh, we're actually getting a call from the boss. Let's see what he has to say.
Aiden, hey, I wanted to give you a heads up. Now look, the crew has shared the latest telemetry data with us.
Fine, but I don't think it will tell me anything I don't already know.
Just humor me, okay? I'd like to go through it. Let me know if anything jumps out. I'm keen to iron out these problems as quickly as possible for you.
Sure thing. Thanks, Andrea.
No thanks needed. I've got your back, Aiden. Remember what I said when you joined the team. I won't let you down. Ackerman wouldn't let me hear the end of it.
Yeah, sounds like Casper. You know he told me the same, right? It's just tricky, what with the car and Devin poking his nose in any chance he gets.
There is a lot going on for sure, but we're a team. We'll get there. I'll have a word with the Devon. Tell him to give you some space, both on and off the track, okay?
Yeah, all right. Good luck with that.
All right, so a nice little phone call with the principal. He's reassuring us that he has our back and all this. It seems like Aiden's getting a little fed up with it, not only just with the team in general, but obviously with one Devin Butler. And this is a pretty cool feature. Obviously, you have your news, social, and email here. And in the social, it actually has some cool little features from real content creators. So obviously, we have Marduk there, who's saying that car is terrible, but Aiden Jackson's driving like a champion. Then you got, some other famous names here. You have some pretty popular people that if you haven't checked out the channels, make sure you go check them out. They're all very, very entertaining. You have Erva, who is up and coming, one of the most popular ones right now, nearing 1 million followers. So it's really cool to see that they've implemented some real life. Obviously, these guys didn't actually write it, but it's really cool to see that they're in the story somehow. So that's pretty cool from the virtual world. Obviously, there's some news articles saying how, the father-son duo, again, I can only imagine how Devin Butler got his seat at Konnorsport if his father is one of the part of the ownership group. So check out our emails right here. Email from Andreo. Yeah, basically just quickly saying, I'm not going to read all of these, but he's basically just saying that he acknowledges the problems. Rest assured that the management team, they're going to get things under control and we're going to have a good strategy, yada, yada, yada. We've heard it before. We'll see if it actually comes to fruition. And then we got Daddy Butler himself, David Doff Butler, who is sending a very generic I'm talking to you type email where he's saying he's given us his thanks for putting together such a strong and passionate foundation. So very, very interesting chapter 1 there. Hopefully things change over as we progress the story. So that is it for chapter 1. We're going to do chapter 2 here on this video as well. And that's kind of how we're going to progress this story, is do, a couple chapters at a time, see what the story leads, and then go from there. But right now, things are off to a rocky start. And there you go. We head over to the Canadian Grand Prix 6 weeks later. So one of my favorite tracks, and not just because I'm a Canadian, I absolutely love this circuit. I think it's one of the most entertaining to watch, and it is absolutely stunning. And we start off chapter 2. Konnorsport's maiden season continues to be marred by inconsistency, but team principal Andre O'Connor remains hopeful that their luck will start to change as the paddock heads to Montreal. So hopefully that is the case. I can only imagine how much these two titular drivers are squaring off against each other.
Boss, got a couple of minutes.
Oh, this is an interesting thing. It looks like we're actually playing as the team principal here, answering some questions. So for the first one here, brief home circuit. Stroll and Latifi have been all over local media. One particular outlet appeared bent on using our recent struggles to pump up expectations of the home drivers. They indicated that Konnorsports were easy fodder for the Canadian pair. Oh boy. Fodder, we'll show them who's fodder, or I won't be drawn into this. I think we just got to ignore it. Yeah, I think giving into it kind of sounds like something the Butlers would do, so we'll leave it to them. I don't want to get into this whole we're better than anybody else, because if, 6 weeks ago was Miami Grand Prix, and if that was the intro to the series, I can only imagine the struggles that we've had so far. So we're going to ignore this. Devin's overpromise, of course. Devin was a popular streamer's channel earlier this week and said a behind-the-scenes tour of the factory next Thursday. That clashes with our scheduled team building days for the engineering factories. I don't need to read anymore. Classic Devin Butler going and promising something that clashes with a team building event. So we have 3 options. We can confirm it and reschedule the team building and let the tour go ahead. We can say cancel the team building and let the tour go ahead, but Devin is getting in front of the camera and leading the tour. Not doing that. Or Devin doesn't run this team, even if he thinks he does. I think we got to decline it. I mean, a team building seems like something that can at least bring morale up. If the team is struggling, not just the drivers, but the team in general is having reliability issues, it might be wise to have a team building event to kind of get some spirits up. And you're absolutely right. Devin doesn't run this team. I don't even care if his dad's name's on the side of the car. So we'll see how this impacts us going forward. But a cool little HQ view here as we set ourselves up for the paddock. And obviously we have some new news to talk about. So continuing car troubles. Andre O'Connor, CO team principal. We have a call coming in, and it looks like it is from our friend, Devin Butler.
Andreo! Just gone over those last-minute strategy changes you sent over.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear, whatever happens out there today, I get pit priority, yeah?
Well, we'll see how the race develops. If you need priority, you'll get it. But I can't go into the race with that on the table.
Look. We all know Jackson's not pulling his weight. Now, if you want the points, I need to make sure he's not going to get in my way. Do you get me?
Devin, we've talked about this. Give Aiden some space. It's not about you getting in the way of each other. It's about everyone pulling together, racing as a team.
Of course. Yeah, so, pit priority, yeah? All right, ciao.
Classic, the little weasel, the snake Devin Butler trying to get some more favoritism and get some inside pit advantages. But just checking through some things, in case you guys just missed that on the social media, we have a tweet from the Devin Butler real himself. How do I get that winning smile? Well, good genes help, but I brush every day with Radiant. So he's clearly sponsored by some sort of dental toothpaste company. Man, that guy is a piece of work. But in our email there, we got one from our old driver, Casper Ackerman, from the first game, saying that he saw the interview and that he's talking about the principal's dad, Antonio, who's almost 90 years old. So from the first game, the man has aged a little bit, and he seems to be working with somebody new as he has a little maneuver to keep an eye on lap 14. So interesting whether that's the new character they're going to introduce or what. Another message from Papa Butler, and then a couple things prepping us for, Father's Flight for the weekend, and then a weekend preview here. Yeah, we just have the tires we can use and things like that. So without further ado, let's kick it off. Again, it seems like the last 6 weeks have not been that favorable, and struggles like Miami just have continued. So we'll see what kind of quarrels the two characters get into in Canada. So we are starting this Canadian Grand Prix in the mid-race, so we're about halfway through, I'm assuming. Chapter 2, with several laps remaining, Aiden Jackson pushes on as he hopes to secure some much-needed points for Konnorsport.
Into turn 2 we go now. Butler comes out of the pit lane. Jackson is right now with him. This is dicey, Ant. Neither one of these two wants to give way.
This would have been a lot cleaner if Jackson had just let him go. He's just not giving him an inch.
They continue onwards, still wheel to wheel, almost touching there as well, as we head down the straight towards the next chicane. Nothing to separate either car, and through the chicane we go. And now Jackson sends them both off the track, and Butler over a curb. That looked nasty.
And I do believe that one of their cars is damaged here, Crofty. I think it's Butler.
Damage, Ant, but also they've lost places too.
Unbelievable and totally unnecessary as well.
Well, one damaged car, places now to make up. What a complete mess that was.
Oh boy, so it seems like the struggles continue for these two drivers, not getting along. We have a new objective to reclaim 13th place.
Where did you even think it was going to go? Okay, calm yourself down. We'll look at it in the debrief later, but right now I want you to go and get those places back.
Ooh,
on,
that's actually not a good look for Aiden, as we jump right in. As he says that blame was entirely on Butler, but he is equally to blame for that one. That was a very, very poor judgment from both those drivers. And unfortunately, it resulted in Devin Butler's car being injured as he has fallen way off the pace now. And now we are falling into 17th And we're looking to make up a whole bunch of places. We got to get back to the 13th position and 10th for the bonuses. That was a very, very aggressive dive there. Maybe a little bit of nerves still. Maybe not nerves, aggression from that incident with Butler coming out of Aiden Jackson there. But in this race, I'm looking to clean up my racing as well. Last time we touched a couple too many walls. A little bit of contact on some drivers there, so looking to improve my race. And I mean, this racetrack with the new driver model, this is so much fun to race right now.
Okay to use your overtake button.
We got a tall task ahead of us.
Car in front is 1.6 seconds.
Oh, and we go a little bit deep there. Not a bad recovery as we have Latifi ahead of us, the Canadian who was saying we had some fodder as we just touched the grass there, so a little bit sloppy so far. We got some work to do here, ladies and gentlemen. 12 out of 18 laps. Not only do we want to finish, but we now need to regain those points that it seemed like the team was easily going to take home. Purple middle sector, I don't think that was that great of a last sector, kind of touched the grass. Oh, it was a purple, so we still have the pace out here in Canada as well.
Car behind, 2.2 seconds.
Gotta be careful not to bump into the back of Latifi here. We will make a play on the inside. Yeah, another good overtake there, and I can't stress how much fun this is to drive this circuit when you're so easy to get on the throttle. I was thinking about taking a run on the inside there, but again, with everything that's happened so far in this story mode, we do not want to do anything stupid and risk having a DNF in the story mode. Oh, and he bumps right back into us, so almost maybe exceeded the track limits a little bit. We had the move on him. He tried coming back on the inside, so whether he just didn't see me in his mirror there was aggressive. But I mean, with what we have to work with, everything from this point out needs to be aggressive. Touch the wall there again, just a little bit sloppy. Nothing we can't clean up here. Again, we're just getting familiar with one, the new F123 steering model in general, and then two, with a much different car than our team career. But I mean, so far this story is going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds, because you can tell the tensions between the two drivers are at an all-time high. The car isn't what they need it to be. The management's not happy with the two of them going at each other. And there we go. Alexander Albon is now in our sights as our target driver to overtake. And really, Norris, and I'm not sure who's in front of Norris, is right up the road from us. So this is looking like we definitely have the pace. Will we have the reliability to finish the race? And let me tell you, that post-race debrief is going to be very, very interesting to hear the two of them go at it, because I'm sure Devin Butler thinks it's Aiden Jackson's fault, and Aiden Jackson clearly thinks that was Devin Butler's fault. Man, the acceleration on this one is... I was going to go for the inside. We have lots of race. Let's not make any stupid mistakes. We'll go on the inside. A beautiful overtake on Albon there as we'll complete the move. Oh, he slams us into the wall. Oh, no. We're actually going to flash that one back. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch my team career, you know that I hate using the flashback. But unfortunately, I want to experience the story of this without being too sim-like. So maybe a little aggressive move, an error by the AI sends us into the wall. We'll use flashback. I've seen other content creators use flashback in their My Team career, so if they use it in My Team career, I'm going to be using it in the you know, career mode or whatever you want to call this, the story mode. But we do pass Albon. That was a much cleaner overtake on the second try there. And now Guan Yu Zhu and Lando Norris.
9.3 seconds.
And yeah, unfortunately, Butler has just lost all paces. We look to go around the outside as Lando Norris is held up by Guan Yu. And now we have a clear line here to take a stab at the Alfa Romeo.
On Leclerc. Okay, they're out of this race.
Oh no! And just like in the real Canadian Grand Prix from last year, Charles Leclerc has been forced to retire as his Ferrari is sitting duck right there.
Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining.
We are in 10th position now. Let's see if we can catch up. We still have a long way off from Stroll. But right now, it's just about finishing the race. He is on hards, though, so he is in our view now. We do see him up the road. mean, this car is a delight to drive. I mean, I can understand why fans around the social media aspect of this game are frustrated because Aiden seems to be having a really good year. If it wasn't for all the DNS, I can actually take that corner in 4th gear. I got to remember that this is an F122.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
This is also the first time, ladies and gentlemen, that I am recording this and talking while actually driving. If you know my team career, it's a much more edited version where we do the voiceover after. This is a little bit trickier than I thought, so if there's times where I'm yelling or I might not be making a lot of sense, it's because I'm trying to focus on my driving as much as possible and avoid, you know, crashing the car. Because once again, this is a story-based mode. I'm not looking to set time, like crazy time lapse and anything like that, although I will say this car is incredible. And we have caught right up to Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly. We have some battery left to work with as well. So the medium's clearly the tire that's working better. We will slip up the inside, similar to what we did on Albon. And a beautiful move. Purple sectors 1 and 2. Let's see if we can, with DRS, get a purple sector 3 and set the fastest lap of the race. We're going to take a dive here on Gasly. A very late dive, a very late move. We got to force off onto the sausage curb. And unfortunately, that may have caused some damage, but I think we got away with it. Wow, Gasly's AlphaTauri putting in. We do get the fastest lap of the race. We will take the inside from him. Beautiful move there. Had to bail off from that chicane so we didn't end up in the wall. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. Like, the game might look the same aside from some new, you know, shaders and textures, but I might sound like a broken record, as unfortunately we just did what I said I didn't want to do. Losing focus. Let me get through this tough stretch of the course. That is such a fun chicane, probably the most fun in the circuit. What I was trying to say before we threw our car into the wall was this new driver model in these certain tracks are just so much fun to drive now because you can just feel the weight behind the car. You can feel the downforce now. I know that might sound a little crazy, but F121 or 22 had a pretty rough drive package as part of it. It felt very, very hard to drive any of the cars, including the real Formula One cars. We will sail past Bottas. Oh, it just feels so good to hit every chicane as now we sail past Yuki.
Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, final lap. Let's hope we don't run into any issues car related. Oh, found the grass a little bit there. Way too wide. Focus up here. This is the most fun part of the circuit, but if I find when I'm talking, I'm a very handsy talker, which means my hands go flailing when I talk. Taking your hand off the steering wheel is not recommended. You can just get on the throttle so much quicker, even with a bit of like understeer. One thing that I'm finding in this game is because the brake points are different, I find that I'm not trail braking as efficiently, so that's going to take some time to really get back into the rhythm of that with the new way of handling. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially survived a race as our Konnorsport team.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Khaos in Canada went down. Oh no, yeah, the team's not going to be happy about that, I can only imagine.
So it's been a day of drama here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve today. But Ant, what stood out for you?
Well, it must be the Konnorsport moment between the two drivers there, banging wheels, not giving each other room on track. It was entertaining, of course, but definitely for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, we enjoyed it, certainly. And Aidan Jackson, well, he'd have enjoyed the result. He did well to recover.
He did do well to recover, but, you know, you never want to see two cars, if you're the team boss, seeing two cars hit each other. It's rule number one. Don't hit your teammate.
Given all the problems they've had this season, though, getting one car over the finish line, that's probably a big result for them today.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Here come our winners
and
now,
Carlos
a thrilling
Sainz, which I
race
believe,
and a tremendous effort
if I'm
by
not
Ferrari.
mistaken, the 2022
Their history
Canadian
is
Grand
well
Prix
known,
went to
so
Max
it's no
Verstappen with
surprise to fans the world over
Carlos
to see them
Sainz.
come out on top
Is that
once
accurate?
again.
I swear it was the other way around. I thought Carlos Sainz finished second. I could be completely misremembering, but I believe that was actually the pole there. If I'm looking up the results, it does look like the winner was Verstappen. So kind of interesting that they have Carlos Sainz winning over Verstappen, but that is the same podium members anyway. So cool to see that we actually get to stick around and see a podium celebration. But I can only imagine this debriefing is not going to go well. So there you have it. Post-race chapter 2, nothing ever changes. Jackson and Butler's rivalry from the past 2 seasons seems to be alive and well, even when they're teammates. Their unwillingness to cede position to each other at the Canadian Grand Prix is a really bad look for Konnorsport. Oh gosh, here we go. Oh, I'm sure there'll be a phone call here. I can only imagine what's about to come. So calamity at Konnorsport. I mean, the thing that was very interesting there is, oh, here we go. Uh-oh.
Aiden, just a heads up. We're putting the debrief back by 30 minutes.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Listen, while I've got you on, what happened out there today?
It wasn't my fault. Devon thinks he's the only one driving.
I don't want to dwell on it too much at the meeting, but this is not how we run a team. You know this.
Of course. It's just...
No, I don't want to hear it. We have enough problems as it is. Whatever has gone on between you two in the past, I need you to put it to bed.
Sure.
I don't want to have to talk to you like this, Aiden, and I'll be saying the same to Devon. Come on now.
Sure.
See you at the debrief.
Oof, not a happy phone call from the man himself. The Connor, Andre O'Connor is not too happy with us there. But as I'm reading through some of these little news articles, which are actually pretty entertaining to read, definitely not a very good look. And I think which was very interesting there before that phone call I was about to say. It's interesting seeing Aidan Jackson kind of being in the wrong there. I'm not saying what Butler did was in any way not acceptable as well, but coming around the pit lane, fresher tires, pushing your teammate to the limit, and then ultimately causing that without backing out of that corner is not a good look for Aidan Jackson to be saying it's entirely Butler's fault. So not a great look. Teammates don't always play nicely. I read through this one quickly. Looks like they're comparing the rivalry between Jackson and Butler between Senna and Prost. That's a pretty big comparison if you know the history between them. More car troubles, but I mean, you can't really put that one on the car when an accident's involved. So let's see what they like to finish a 6 after a tussle like that. Nice one, Aidan Jackson. Butler should be sacked. Oof. Enjoy it while you can. They won't be here next season. Oof. It seems like the community switches on one of them very quickly. Big fan base for both. Let's see what Arava has to say. Props Jackson. That's a respectable finish for Konnorsport. Can't knock them when they're scoring points in their maiden season. I mean, hey, a 6th finish. We drove pretty well. We had a couple nicks against the wall. Still trying to get used to the handling, but we will take that. But I still don't think it was a that nice of a little look for both those guys. Brian Doyle, you'll never guess where I am. Just thought I'd send you a cheeky hello from sunny Barbados. Been watching your race. Nice to see things never changed. And by that, I mean Butler's still a clown. Nice little friendly email there from Brian Doyle. Andre O'Connor, and FYI for everyone attending the debrief. We're putting the meeting back by half hour. It means everyone's got time to grab a coffee and take a comfort break beforehand, which I suggest you all do. There's a lot to discuss. Yeah, this is not going to go very well. Tomorrow's interview, it's an early one. So we have an early interview tomorrow. But that is it for the second chapter here. I'm not going to progress. We're going to end it right there, and we're going to come back here for episode 2, which will be chapters 3 and 4 of this beautiful new Breakpoint series. It's absolutely incredible. The tensions are extremely high. We're going to get more and more familiar with the Konnorsport car, and I can only imagine how this game proceeds. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot of F1 content coming out over the next couple weeks, so make sure you stay tuned. And I'm having a blast driving this new car in this game. It really is a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy these videos too, and we'll catch you back here in the next one. Thanks, guys.